There aren't too many people left who still try to argue that President Biden opted to drop out of the presidential race on his own. In other words, it's now widely accepted that a cabal of Democrat Party bosses and power brokers pulled an Adolf Hitler strong-arming Czechoslovakian President Emil Hácha into signing away the Sudetenland. Biden was forced out, a stinging insult that could only be outdone by finding out who everyone thought was a better option.
Okay, now I want each of you to shout your own name. Do that.
But the old man may be getting the last laugh after all. You might have heard that former President Donald Trump held a massive rally at New York's Madison Square Garden a few nights ago. And you might have heard that at this rally, the Trump team put an insult comic on the stage to do a little equal opportunity roasting.
There's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
And you might have heard that the same media that thinks porn is free speech, that mocks Christians as prudes and priggish killjoys because they don't think kids should be exposed to male genitalia at pride parades, that same media was beside itself. They were sent into the throes of a pearl-clutching, overwrought, hot and bothered frenzy at those very jokes.
Opening act, grabbing headlines for all the wrong reasons, a comedian who offered unfunny, racist, cringeworthy jokes.
Basically calling Puerto Ricans trash.
The most repulsive racial jokes about Latinos.
Disgusting and hateful.
So incredibly crude.
Frankly, just too X-rated to play here.
Extremely vile so-called jokes.
Now, their freakout was enough to create a little panic in the Trump camp, which came out with a disclaimer that the insult comic's views don't necessarily reflect the views of the campaign. But would that be enough? Or had Team Trump just stepped on a rake? Had they just committed the unforced error that would cost them the Hispanic vote, assuming, I guess, that all Hispanic voters are pearl-clutching moralists like the Puritans over at the Morning Joe show, and then that consequently cost him the election? I mean, it was pretty harsh, calling the island of Puerto Rico a floating pile of garbage. You just can't insult people like that and expect to be the president. It's not dignified, it's not statesmanlike, it's not presidential. Unfortunately, President Biden didn't get that memo.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Yes, you heard that right. While his party is out desperately appealing to any voter, dead or alive, to impress upon them that having a comic call your fellow Americans garbage, well, that's disqualifying for any would-be president. While they're doing that, Joe Biden calls half the country, his fellow Americans, garbage. How now do the Democrats tell everyone that an insult comedian calling an island garbage is worse than a sitting president calling the people he's paid to serve garbage? God love him, it's moments like this that I think I'm actually going to miss the guy. Now, I'm sure the Harris campaign will come out soon with a statement about how they're running to unburden themselves from what has been. But I have a feeling that this may just be Joe's revenge. Oh, I know he's largely senile at this point, but I think old Emil Hácha had one last play in him. One last kick in the jimmy to those who unceremoniously booted him out the door. This is a guy, after all, who tamed Corn Pop back in the day. And if you think you're going to keep him from talking,
I say to you, be quiet till I speak, okay? That's what I say. Good idea?
The best, Joe. The best idea.